of you in this room would prefer to purchase products from brands that help create a better world? So as you can see, today the market, which is all of you guys, expects brands to give back. And actually, if I put that in numbers, it's 61% of consumers that are actively looking for products and services that help create a better world. And of course, companies know that already, and that's why some companies practice a few broad categories of corporate social responsibility, or in short, CSR. And among those categories are things like environmental efforts, or ethical labor practices, or philanthropy, which is donating money to charity or nonprofits. Anyone in this room that runs a nonprofit organization or a charity? Okay. So organizations just like yours are depending on these kinds of donations. But why not rethink the traditional model of how companies work together with nonprofits and make it better? You know, if you look at brands, there's what brands like and there's what brands do. So what brands like is what they talk about. CSR is nothing that a brand really likes, but it's something that a brand needs to do. And I think we can change that. We can change that by going away from a traditional CSR model towards a who we are model. So it's not about donating money to charity because you feel like you have to. It's because you want to. But how do we get there? It's about developing partnerships between companies and nonprofits that are based around the philosophy and DNA of both of them. And I want to give you an example. That example is between a nonprofit organization that I work with. I'm also the vice president of Waves for Water Europe. We provide access to clean drinking water to communities all around the world. And the partner in my example is a car company, so a vehicle manufacturer. So you can see it's two very different types of organizations or businesses. So with Waves for Water, we provide access to clean drinking water to communities in need all around the world. We do that through the distribution of portable water filters, the digging and renovating of wells, but also building rain catchment systems where there is no groundwater available. One of the filters that we are using has the capacity to clean 3.7 million liters of water, which is enough to supply 100 people for up to 5 years, and it only costs 50 euros. So think about that. A 50-euro filter can supply enough water to supply 100 people for up to 5 years. That is huge. So Waves for Water's philosophy is based around do what you love and help along the way, which basically means, you know, plugging purpose into your passions. So go out and do the things you love. Go hiking, go mountain bike riding, go sailing, go surfing, go do whatever makes you happy, but then plug purpose into that simply by taking water filters with you and giving them to people in need while you're on your trip. The organization was founded in 2009 by this guy. His name is John Rose. He's a former professional surfer. So if you look at Waves of Water's brands, there's a couple of keywords, attributes that come into my mind. So it's about exploring and adventuring, and it's about living life to the fullest, and of course, plugging purpose into your passions. Now I want to bring in the partner in my example, which is a Japanese vehicle company that is also involved in the motorsport since the 60s. Their brand is built around going on your adventure, breaking free from the crowd, and finding your own path. So as you can see, there are similarities in the brand values of both of them. So this vehicle company, they were interested in doing a project with Waves for Water. They wanted to support what we do. Waves for Water did something unique. Waves for Water analyzed their brand and pitched them a tailor-made project that speaks to the philosophy and DNA of both of them. And that project was based around a rally in Brazil that happens each year. And the idea was simple. The idea was to get one of the brand's rally cars to actually drive the rally with them. So all the drivers, they were driving against each other, but Waves for Water, and they were driving against each other and against time, but Waves for Water was driving against the statistics of the world water crisis. It was a 10 days journey over 5,000 kilometers, and Waves for Water stopped in villages along the way to provide them with access to clean drinking water. And the project was a full success. John Rose, the founder, was actually followed by a camera team for 2 days from Globo, which is Brazilian's national broadcaster, and they made a segment that ended up being in the primetime news all over Brazil. Some of the other drivers, they were so inspired that they took water filters with them the year after. One team even branded their car with Waves for Water just to show support. So the company, they not only got a great CSR to Who We Are project, but they also got lots of press around it. And Waves for Water, they executed, they got to drive a truck, drive 10 days around Brazil, and were able to have thousands of people along the way while also staying true to their philosophy. And I want to show you now a clip from this project.
My friend Guga from Brazil called me and said, we've got this huge off-road rally happening and we should plan a Waves for Water mission around it. It's all happening at the same time, and there's like one race going on here and the other race going on here. We're not racing against them or racing against time, but we're racing to get people access to clean water. It immediately triggered me and spoke directly to the model of Waves for Water, which is go out there and do the things you love and help along the way. I always think it's not really what we do, it's how we do it. And so in this case, we have our mode of transport, which is this off-road truck. And we have it stocked with filters and buckets, and we're really guerrilla style. It's all really based around the spirit of adventure, going out there and testing yourself and getting through adversity. The reason why most Waves for Water trips are as adventurous as they are is because oftentimes we're on the fringe. You need to be on horseback or you need to be in a 4x4 truck. Otherwise, you can't get to these places. So it makes it really exciting in terms of the adventure, but it also allows us to access these pockets, these forgotten ones in a sense, that don't really get help just because it's really hard to get there. Whether it's a rally race, 5,000 kilometers across the desert and any number of things can happen, or it's, trying to climb a mountain, or it's surfing some tidal bore wave in the Amazon. It's a way of life. This has been my way of life since as long as I can remember. But I always believe going out there and making yourself happy, doing the things that you love first is number one. But now I've sort of created a platform to be able to help people in the process. There's a purpose to it beyond myself, and that's where I feel like it rounds out the full circle.
So to date, Waves for Water has executed over 105 projects ranging from disaster relief, public health, and brand partnerships in 32 countries, impacting 7 million people. So traditionally, if you run an NGO and your organization is based around water, you would naturally look for partners and brands that work in the same space. And if you have a company, you would do the same, vice versa. So Waves for Water has nothing to do with cars, and the car company has nothing to do with water. But what unites them is just their way of life, it's their philosophy. And as John said in the video, it's not about what you do, it's about how you do it. So if you run a nonprofit organizations, then go out and look for partners that share your philosophy, that share your way of life, and approach them with an idea for a one-time project, but also with an idea for a long-term partnership. If you are able to secure a long-term partner, it not only means a steady way of income for your organization, but it also means that most likely this partner will start to build a narrative around the project, will start to create content around it, which brings back awareness back into your organization. And if you run an organization, then do less CSR and do more who we are. And you will be able to help create a better world in a very authentic and meaningful way. You will be able to create content to attract and engage your existing customers, but also attract new ones. And I can tell you one thing for sure. If you're able to do a CSR to who we are project right, and it's a long-term commitment, then ultimately your brand can turn from a brand that's being liked into a brand that's being loved. Thank you very much.